Hello, good evening and welcome to UTV Life. Sit back and relax with me over the next half hour because on tonight's programme, when it comes to mentioning Irish traditional folk bands, the Dubliners would be top of the list. And after over 50 years, their music is being celebrated thanks to the daughter of the original band member, John Sheahan. And I'm joined by his daughter, Ceoladh, who's producing the show Dubliners Encore. Rita's been for a tour of Belfast's newest boutique hotel, the Bedford, which is right beside the City Hall in the iconic Scottish Mutual building. I'll be finding out about Kabosh Theatre's latest production, Cuckoo Land, with artistic director Paula McFetridge and playwright Victoria Paula. Our film critic Brian Henry Martin will be giving us his top entertainment tips for this week.
Arms are open and it's real. Don't close me out.
And with music from singer-songwriter Joe Kenny performing Don't Close Me Out. Well, for over 50 years, the Dubliners travelled the world introducing audiences to their brand of Irish folk music. In that time, they released 30 albums, sold 40 million records and played sold-out tours. Now, the last Dubliner, John Sheahan, has handpicked 5 musicians to tell the story of the greatest folk band of all time in the show, the Dubliners Encore. It's produced by John's daughter, Ceoladh, who I'm delighted to welcome to UTV Life. But before we chat, let's get a flavour of the show.
I will always see the town that I have loved so well, where school played ball by the gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the smell, going home in the rain, running up in the dark lane, past the jail and down behind the fountain.
Oh, I could listen to that all day, Ceoladh. What a beautiful sound. And that, I mean, it gives you goosebumps just listening to that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The show is quite emotional at times, and I think for people who come and see the show, that's the whole thing. It's the soundtrack to their lives,
Yes.
you know, so it is an emotional roller coaster.
And in particular, a soundtrack to your life,
Yeah.
quite literally,
Yeah.
because the Dubliners have been on the go, obviously, quite some time before you were born.
Yes.
But so you were just born into it.
Yeah, like, I suppose, yeah, I've had a very unique, privileged upbringing, really, and then to come full circle producing the show with Dad has been amazing. You know, I was probably, some of my earliest memories, like I was 7 when the Irish Rover hit the charts.
Wow.
So I remember like sitting around the kitchen table with Mum and Dad and my siblings, like waiting to hear the top 10. But then as I got older, you know, I play as well, just casually. Dad's a very kind of low-key, humble guy. So I got to go on tour with the Dubliners, and in that way, Dad would be like, you know, I was about 15 or 16. Dad was like, you should take a couple of days off school, come over and join the tour.
Oh, brilliant.
And suddenly you're in Germany, like surrounded by lunatic German Dubliners fans is the only way to describe it, you know.
But that was an education in itself for you.
Absolutely, and that's the way Mum and Dad would have looked at it. Like, actually go on the road for a couple of days, experience what this life is like in a very safe way, and that's nearly more of an education than the couple of days I missed in school.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And you appeared on stage with them too.
Yeah. So like I'd be over there, and as I say, I played a bit very casually, and then Dad would be like, sure, come on up on stage and have a couple of tunes. And suddenly, like, I'm in, you know, a pair of jeans and runners, and I'm standing to a couple of thousand people in like these incredible theatres in Germany. So I'm very lucky to have those memories of performing with Dad and with Barney and Ronnie. And I suppose it gives me a unique perspective then when you go to produce a show like this. I know what it's like to be on the stage with them, but also to be a punter in the audience enjoying it, you know.
And for those who would have been eagle-eyed watching that, I have to keep reminding myself it's Phil Coulter, not Cool Filter, as we call it.
I know.
He's playing the Joanna in the background there because that's the song that he wrote
for the Dubliners, for Luke Kelly. Like, there's a couple of moments in the show, and it is the story of the Dubliners, so it is a scripted show, but the music obviously sings for itself, literally. But like, there's a moment in the show where Phil talks about Luke kind of sitting him down, because he'd obviously written Puppet on a String and songs for Elvis and all of that. And Luke said to him, I think it's time you wrote some grown-up songs, Phil. And he says Luke was the inspiration, you know, to go and write a song about Derry and the troubles at the time.
That's so lovely. Telling Phil Coulter to write a grown-up song. That is just so brilliant. Yeah. You've got Imelda May narrating too.
Yeah, Imelda, we felt, was the perfect choice for this because as a woman surrounded by a lot of bearded men, I really wanted a strong female voice as well to narrate it. And although Dad narrates parts of the story, kind of the highlights and lowlights and those poignant moments within the show, we needed someone else to kind of punch through those factual things about the Dubliners, what they did. Like, they revolutionised Irish music. So Imelda came on board and she did that. And I suppose she represents the next generation as well, who's carrying on the Dubliners' legacy in so many ways.
Her songwriting is it's storytelling as well. I mean, I've had the pleasure, she's been in on the programme and I had the pleasure to go and see her in Mother of the Beans, and she's just absolutely amazing. But to handpick as well the 5 other band members must have been quite difficult. And also, you've had presidential validation from Michael D. Higgins himself.
Yeah,
that must have been lovely.
Oh, it was so gorgeous. Michael D. Higgins and Sabina came to the Dublin premiere, which was January last year. And he was up in the balcony singing and dancing with my mum. And, you know, to get that kind of stamp of approval from our former president, you know, and his travels interwove with the Dubliners as well. So yeah, we've had lots of gorgeous full circle moments, I suppose. And
as I mentioned, the 5 hand-picked musicians, no pressure on them then?
No pressure at all. And you know, it's funny, Aidan Connolly, who's our fiddle player, who represents my dad, like, he's saying, what an incredible privilege out of all of them to work with Dad. I suppose the others are representing the 4 who've passed away. But like during rehearsals, I find Dad and Aidan in a corner, like working out little intricacies, and Dad. And I suppose that's what makes this show different. It is authentic through to its core. You know, for Dad to sit down with Aidan and all of the musicians and Phil and just finesse every element of it.
There's archive footage as well, and your dad's playing the whistle through some of those too. That must be quite emotional too.
Oh, absolutely. And there's real special archive footage in this. Paddy O'Donoghue, who owned O'Donoghue's pub, where the Dubliners formed.
Where they were told to drink a pint
drink up and shut up. He eventually came around to their way of thinking. Maybe he was forced. But he filmed each of the Dubliners' weddings on Super 8 footage, on a Super 8 camera. And then he used to invite them into the parlour, I'm sure not for tea, probably a few pints, and they would view the footage of the weddings. And Dad knew this footage existed, but we didn't know where. Paddy had no children, Paddy and Maureen. And about 3 years ago, we got a call from a niece of his who found the footage in her attic.
Oh, that is so special.
We've interwoven that, but it's so poignant, you know, to see the lads on the steps of the church having the crack and each of them getting married. Like,
the sort of weddings we all want to be at. Well, listen,
100%.
Everybody can see them in the Millennium Forum on the 9th, that's next week, on the 9th, and in the Waterfront Hall on the 10th.
Of April.
Ceoladh, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. You're an absolute joy. You need your own show.
Thank you, Pamela.
Best of luck for everything.
Thank you.
Now, the iconic former Scottish Mutual building in the heart of Belfast city centre is set to open its doors next week as it's been transformed into the Bedford Hotel. And Rita's been to see how the multi-million pounds revamp has transformed the historic building.
Celebrating Belfast's heritage, one of the city's historic buildings is getting ready to open its doors once again. The Bedford Hotel, a B-listed building, has been sympathetically brought back to life.
We really are in the heart of the city. What a special space.
Absolutely. Delighted to bring this building back to life. It was built around 1904. The building was an assurance building, so it was connected to the finance industry. Back in the day, I guess many people would remember historically would have been a chap on a bicycle would have cycled round and taken a couple of pennies off your grandmother, and they would have insured or assured the house and the property. They would have came to this building, and typically their head office may have been based here, and they would have brought their old ledger into the building and whatever money they would have had, and that would have been safely stored upstairs in some of our vaults.
And that's part of what you've captured here. All these years later, you've got all the vaults, you've got so much original detail. That's very important, isn't it, in bringing an old building like this back to life?
It really is. I mean, when they say a labour of love, that really has been. And within the hotel, there are a number of historic features, and you're never too far away from any of them. As a matter of fact, this pillar itself, you can see the logo from the Belfast company that built it up.
And there's so much original detail.
There really is.
Can I see some more?
I would be delighted to show you.
Let's go.
Okay, so again, we have the banisters restored, and all of this ceramic work is original.
Oh, look at that.
And you can see just ahead of you, we have a stained glass window.
That's fabulous.
So Rita, this is typically one of the vaults within the rooms. And again, we've recreated the ledgers on the walls, if you can see.
So this is where the ledgers would have originally have been brought for safekeeping.
Absolutely.
Look what you've done with it. It's so super cute. Little coffee nook, little mini bar. I absolutely love it.
And central to the experience here is championing Northern Ireland's fine produce, with executive head chef Noel McMeal at the helm.
I'm sure you've had immense fun putting your new menu together.
I think it was so exciting. Number one was getting the opportunity, right? This is the biggest opportunity for any chef to really showcase the best of Northern Irish food. I'm very fortunate I get to travel around the world and to showcase what Northern Ireland food is. And now I've got the prime kind of stage to really do that and to really put it out. And really, it's about the best of Northern Irish food, taking the best of local produce, cooking as little as possible with great skill from all us chefs in the kitchen, and kind of just giving it to the guests to admire, but most of all enjoy.
Sitting here, Mike, you really do feel like you're part of the heritage of the city.
Absolutely. It does have its ancient history, as we know. It has its more recent history, but I genuinely believe that its greatest asset is its future.
I love all the old features. Well, still to come, I'll be talking to artistic director Paula McFetridge and playwright Victoria Cafola about the new theatre production Cuckoo Land, and we'll have music from singer-songwriter Joe Kenny with Don't Close Me Out. So see you shortly. Hello again. Now, the Kabosh Theatre Company and the Mac's latest production, Cuckoo Land, is inspired by the formation of the pioneering cross-community political party, the Women's Coalition. This original piece blends live, high-energy music with theatrical storytelling. And to find out more, I'm joined by artistic director Paula McFetridge and playwright and screenwriter Victoria Cafola. But before we chat, let's get a taste of the play. Wow, when I said high energy, Paula, that's high energy. This is called gig theatre.
Yes.
Which is basically a gig and a theatre combined.
Absolutely. It's exactly what it says in the tin. So you have a live band.
You have a live band. But when one mentions the Women's Coalition, one does not automatically think of a rock opera type.
Well, we find that the rock opera side of it is the way to get rid of all the frustration.
Yeah,
so that's why it's there. So actually what we wanted to try and do was to be inspired by the Women's Coalition, tell the story for a new generation, and be able to talk about misogyny, be able to talk about kind of gender politics, be able to talk about representation of women, and to do it in a way that we could voice all of that frustration and all the kind of angst that went into getting those seats at the table.
And they did get those seats at the table, Victoria. This is an amazing piece of work to be able to get your teeth in and write about. I mean, the research for it must have been fantastic for you.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was a long process. There's a lot of articles and documentaries and, you know, kind of personal stories online that we were able to access. So it started, I think, about maybe 3 years ago, and I think it was maybe actually around the time of the 25th anniversary, and we realised that, you know, their part hadn't really been, I suppose, talked about enough.
The spotlight pretty much fell away from them, but they did so much. But throughout our history, and I'm not just talking about recent history, it's the women that have driven things forward and stood up and stood behind and basically driven things forward and have made such a difference as well. That must be lovely for a playwright.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. Actually, one of the best things is being able to write words for so many women on stage, because you don't always get that, and to have that musical element as well, just kind of punching the message through is amazing.
And we're looking at the cast there. It's not a small cast.
It's massive.
And I mean, there's fantastic women.
Yes, they are.
And what a fantastic pool of women in Northern Ireland you've got to choose from.
Yeah. We're very, very lucky with this team. We have Tracy Lindsay on set, you don't see. We've Mary Lindsay on lights. And as you see with all the women, we're not going for the kind of looky-likey thing, but there's definitely an essence in each of them. I mean, as you saw there, we have Ali Harding on drums, and she's actually playing May Blood. So the idea of like May Blood on a set of drums.
I could have seen May Blood on a set of drums.
So could I.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense when you say it like that.
Yeah, to 100%. And but also the colours, I mean, the scenery, the costumes, you can't just be, because women did have to conform. They had to wear the suits and the clothes and be nice, and every time they turned up in a pair of high heels, somebody passed comment. So it must be lovely to break loose and give them those personalities as well.
And Enda Kenny's done an incredible job on the costumes, because yes, obviously we have shoulder pads, obviously we have a range of beautiful jackets, but his kind of playing with the colours and the whole kind of pop art style of it that all the design team have actually, you know, lent into is incredible. We also have like loads of like animation as part of the set, and that's been done by Fergus Wackala Kelly, and that's leaning into the early Monty Python. So there's loads of kind of visual treats going on.
Bonkers, Victoria. When you first started working on it, did you think your words are going to transform into this?
I don't. We've been trying to work out why we decided that it would be a really good idea to be a musical, and I think it was just the fact that we came to was the fact that we needed to have a way for them to express the frustration, but also the joy of putting a party together in 6 weeks.
And did you work closely? Katie Richardson's done the music. Did you, pair of you work closely together, or did you have your separate parts?
So Katie she's writing from, I suppose, the perspective that what she faces in the music world is very similar to what these women were facing in the political world. So her music, she was writing basically, we were concurrently working, and then we came together, and Paula is the magic person who puts everything together.
So we kind of marked moments that we saw as change, you know, moments of kind of massive stress or massive relief, or those moments of joy. And those then became the moments that we peppered them with the music. And
everybody can see it. It's on from the 11th to the 26th of April in the Mac, which is a great theatre. So ladies, thank you so much, and the best of luck with it. Can't wait to see it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Pamela.
Well, now here's Brian Henry Martin with his entertainment tips for this week.
A video game favourite comes to the big screen for the holidays. It's the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Mamma mia. Chris Pratt and Charlie Day are the voices of twin plumbers Mario and Luigi in this fun new animation.
The Bowser name shall be feared once more! Oh no! Everyone calm down.
Next, un classique français, fall in love with cinema and Paris all over again avec Amélie.
Amélie? Celebrating its 25th anniversary, A Lonely Waitress takes us on a magical mystery tour.
And finally, there are some excellent Easter egg hunts on over the weekend in some beautiful locations, from Mount Stewart to Inniskillen Castle to Trench Farm near Ballycastle. Check out an Easter egg hunt near you and have a happy Easter.
Well, that's just about it. I'll be back next Friday evening at 7. Hope you can join me then. Now, the Ards International Guitar Festival is taking place in a couple of weeks' time, and on Saturday the 18th of April, singer-songwriter Joe Kenny will be taking to the stage. Now, he's playing us out tonight with Don't Close Me Out. Enjoy the rest of your evening, have a great Easter weekend, and lay off too much chocolate. I write.
You say your words, they fall on deaf ears. But I hear you now, at least I try to. You say I don't see the real you. Well, I do now, at least I want to. Gotta heal my heart of steel. But you know that's all bravado. When I can't put my finger on it now. Your clarity, you know it's scary.